Oh, that's interesting. Isn't my game lagged out here? Okay, so we are back at it. Hopefully everything is now fixed. Some kind of weird lag. So I was about to say that we have some new backgrounds here, which looks like we are in some kind of a forest. And some astronomic things here. Celestial cornerstone, central fixture in a carefully constructed barrier around the farmstead, and we can pick it up. Let's pick it up then. And it shows us. That's a new one. A little, small path here. And immediately we are greeted with a battle here. Foreman and farmhand. 3 farmhands. They are resistant more towards blight, but against everything else, kinda good. This guy just buffed him with 10% blight skill chance, 50% blight duration when applied. Well, that's new. And +3 speed, and also gave him riposte that reduces damage. Well,
a decisive pummeling.
And we should probably kill him off before he is going to do anything to us.
Obliterated.
Monster waves and respawning. Defeat foes with swiftly. Defeated foes will swiftly be replaced by waves of despicable reinforcements. Your party must endure this onslaught without pause of hope for respite. Because of the strange nature of Time's behavior in the farmstead, you can retreat with no penalty at any time. The kill meter and crystal shards. All farmstead quests have a kill meter, the measure of your might and ambition. Fill it by defeating monsters, and when your tally hits certain threshold, you will receive a reward of crystal shards. These rewards increase the further you venture. So the more I fill the bar, the more rewards I will get. Back in Helmet, the jeweler seeks these strange glowing shards. He will trade you for unspeakable artifacts of power. Find him in the Nomad's Wagon. A new NPC. Interesting. Oh, great, a stress attack.
Slowly.
With the blight.
This is how a life is taken.
Seed of Madness. Low blight resist, but everything else is high, except movement, and it doesn't have a lot of HP. I'll just keep buffing so that my damage and speed is going to be sufficient enough.
Eradicated. Well struck.
Well, so far so good. No crazy stuff happened.
The abyss returns even the boldest gaze.
I don't know if you can hear the song that is played on the background. Let me pump it up a little bit. It's a new one, so let's appreciate it for a bit. We also have a new enemy, which is Scarecrow, that has higher bleed resist. Yeah, and they are also... And now there are also like two types. Remember my complaint in the Crimson Core DLC about the fact that enemies were mostly... Well, not mostly, pretty much every one of them were bloodsuckers, and you didn't have like perks that could fight against them, except like bringing items against bloodsuckers. Here, there are husks, and also humans. Husk human.
Festering fear consumes the mind.
So they have a single target melee attack that pretty much only does damage. They have a stress and a blight attack that doesn't do damage but applies those negative things. This Scarecrow just used a horror ability on us, which means Scarecrow goes away first. Oh, they will die, which is good. I'll use this thing just to get rid of the unnecessary stress.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
So the bar is almost at the half. What the? Plow horse, husk and beast. Once again, doesn't have that much of a resistances now, but something tells me that it should be kind of a priority here. Sadly, there is no way for me to get to it in time.
Decimated.
I'll try to bring it closer to me to see what's going to happen. Oh, we can get a stun. Ah. How the ground. It stealths itself.
Inches.
Immediately the game greets us with a lot of new enemies and new mechanics. Fortunately, it's not like super broken stuff. It's manageable and interesting. You know this stuff with countless enemies, those countless zombies? Why does it remind me of oh boy, how's it called? Plants vs. Zombies. You just smash waves after waves of zombies. And they also came in variety.
Annihilated.
Well, at least at this difficulty, it's actually kind of manageable. Oh, I have to kill the Seed of Madness.
Back to the pit.
Oh, I heal from it. So when I kill the Seed of Madness, I can heal from it. That's a good thing to know. It seems like they give you... these opportunities to either like heal yeah, and it does seem like stress dealer is actually good because enemies do going to stress you out a bit here. So bleed works.
Maintain the offensive.
Blight? Not really. Don't know, maybe for some enemies. For those who are not human and husks.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay, so we filled up this bar, but it's not over yet. Oh, we almost filled it up. And this set of enemies is pretty much the same. Thus we'll proceed with the same sort of strategy.
As the fiend falls,
Yay!
a faint hope blossoms.
This definitely feels like Plants vs. Zombies to me for some reason. The only thing that is missing are plants. Oh, and when you fill up the bar, everyone just die.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
So that was a first quest. Also a new thing, kills. What is this killing streak? Oh boy. Look, and also this thing, this is new, like from the right and from the left. So apparently the more you kill, the more shards you get. Man, I want more of these.
The degeneracy of the hamlet is nothing, I fear, when compared to the condition of surrounding acres.
This is actually fun. This is actually quite fun. And fun and new. I don't know if Shield Breaker... Oh, would you look at this? Look at Wilderness. You see there is this thing that popped up, like those eyes. It says, the thing from the stars roams here this week. You might encounter it. Is this like a roaming boss or some stuff? Oh, and immediately we have this. Time and space seem to fold upon themselves. The closer one gets to Comet's crash site. Where have the Miller and his family gone? Medium, Veteran 3. Goal is to kill Miller. Veteran, huh? Our biggest problem with Veteran Dungeon is lack of frontliner. Well, if we look at this team, we have a Houndmaster, check. Healer, check. Highwayman? As a frontliner? But then my concern would be him... Lame. I don't have a frontliner. Those are medium champions and long apprentice. I don't want to go into long apprentice. We don't have a frontliner. Then we will go to the wilderness. Yep, we'll go into the wilderness. Maybe we'll find a thing from the stars. I have no idea whether I'll be able to beat him or not. And I wanted to go for the Miller. I can't do it because I don't have... Well, I'll need Jester. I'll need a Jester. I will need a healer. Let's also not forget about the Flagellant. Wait, I cannot bring two Flagellant, right? Yep. I was thinking maybe it was specific to that dungeon, but it isn't. I want Helion. St. Warren's, this is wilderness. Yeah, I would bring her up. Let's use this team composition. It's not the best, not the worst either. And I mean, we do have bleed. In Wild, though, bleed. Let me remember. Yes, it works there. Since it's a champion dungeon, we should prepare for it respectively. And as for Helion, I think I'll just give her like double damage trinkets. But then again, maybe not. Maybe I'll go safe and give her a resist one. Where is it though? Where is my resist trinket? Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be my team. Let's go and find ourselves a thing from the sky. Because I can't go for Miller since I do not have... Since I do not have the needed... I do not have the needed frontliner. My only frontliner is either Houndmaster or Highwayman.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil.
We have to complete room battles. We'll go to the left from here like this. I would like to avoid battles, though. Which is not the case here. Really not the case. I'm thinking about focusing either dogs or giant. And the fact about if I'm gonna focus giant, they might throw ips at me.
Eradicated.
On the other hand, if giant will going to attack me, I might get hit by a lot of damage.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. In Radiance, may we find victory.
All good stuff.
The blood quickens.
I still want to get that stun. Yes. One turn of freedom. And that turn should be sufficient to get rid of the giant. I will not forget about pre-buffing. Because with pre-buffing I will be able to initiate another fight with those buffs that I already have on me. Yay!
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
I don't yet see the thing and how how does it look like on the map? Actually, my buffs will run off. No, they didn't. They're yet still up for 1 round.
Annihilated.
Also, we've spotted a secret room,
Exposed to a killing
which is by any means not bad. Through stun and dodge.
a brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
I'm not really that fond of going into Wild, nor in Warrens. But I just want to see that, what is that roaming thing? And besides, I have to spend turns to try and fish for the frontliner, level 3. Because unfortunately I have no frontliners.
Destroyed.
And I specifically want a good frontliner.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Just because we might... they tell us that we'll fight a boss there, so... that means that a dungeon is going to be a bit extra difficult than you might think. So I get rid of Onyx, so I get rid of
As the light
Torch,
gains purchase,
and
spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
can get rid of shovels though. We'll get rid of bandage. I don't know if he is like Collector, then he will not going to show up on the map.
Powerful blow.
It's going to be sort of a regular, not regular, but random encounter. That way, like because of that, I would have to go towards those battles on the map to try and find him.
Unnerved, unbalanced. Well struck.
It's a good thing that I didn't throw away anti-venoms. Because apparently I will need them.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. As victories mount, so too will resistance. Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
For the most part, I don't even need money anymore now. I just... I'm looking at this and be like, well,
Spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
couple of portraits needed, and that's pretty much it.
Promise of safety.
Yeah, my stun chance is kinda low, so... I'm still trying to go for those stuns, but... if they won't land... okay, it's... not that big of a deal.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
As far as I'm not getting diseased, it's totally okay.
Impressive.
And I think you are kind of already bored to see this team composition. But man, it works. In some dungeons it really does work. So I'm just using whatever I found to be actually good.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
I know that Houndmaster does great here. I know that Helion is decent here.
Unforeseen, unforgiving.
But I'm using this team comp.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
No. I didn't want that. Especially it replacing Beast Hater.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Losing Beast Hater in a dungeons full of beasts? Not good. He'll get healed more by the Vestal, which is partially good. but at the same time not that mandatory.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. The ground quakes.
And yes, I like grid compositions. They're just so
Sedated.
interesting because they do a lot of damage.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
And they also give you the possibility to reduce stress, as well as buff yourself. Okay, so we've cleansed this part, now the right one. And so far I cannot see a thing from the sky. Which is kind of the reason why we are here in the first place. I want to see the new DLC boss,
The way is lit.
the roaming
Path is
boss.
clear. We require only the strength to follow it. If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
And yes, I'm not picking a lot of the stuff. Because like I said, neither gold nor most of those collectibles I'm not interested in that.
Inspiration and improvement.
I'm marked, now they will do extra damage.
Approaches.
But it's okay, since one of the greatest things about Flagellant is he is self-healing, which is ridiculously strong.
A time to perform beyond one's limits. A devastating blow. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
I would also like to tell that if you have, like, if you'd like me to rename one of the heroes from my roster with your name, you can always ask for that. Demand for that sort of action is quite low, so you have a lot of characters to choose from.
A death by inches.
Thus far, those who are named with customized names are this Jester and one of the Crusaders. And yes, they are still alive, still kicking.
As the fiend
Just like I promised, I
hope blossoms.
went with them through a whole lot of stuff, so I keep my word, I keep them alive.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Yeah, so far, like, this first expedition in the new DLC was actually interesting. The only problem that I'm facing right now is that I can't move on because I don't have needed stuff. I don't have frontliners, and that's holding me down significantly.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay, so here we are going to utilize a campfire to buff ourselves. Because the dungeon is almost over. So why not buff?
This expedition at least promises success.
Of course it does. I mean, we are already so experienced. That for the most part those dungeons are not challenging anymore. And yes, I'm not going into long dungeons, as far as you could have seen.
Cruel machinations spring to life.
I don't quite... Oh! The thing from the stars.
Composition of otherworldly death.
The thing is murderous and unforgiving, but it carries treasures that can't be found anywhere else. Additionally, those who survive its terrible onslaught may even earn unique quirks. Remember, retreat is always a valid option, so... good thing that I've thrown away my holy water. Would you look at this? A hideous one, huh?
Masterfully executed.
Almost 200 HP. And in terms of resistances, stun is not an option here. I only will have like 15% stun chance. Actually less, because minus 5% stun chance.
Precision and power.
And the designs are designs are really good. Oh, good. Ah. Nice buff you have there, boy.
Back to the pit.
Oh, and I cannot remove it. Seven damage blight.
Be gone, fiend.
Oh, what am I doing? I should have... I should have removed that blight. Ah, great. I need Jester to slide in the front and kill this thing.
Executed with impunity.
Here's the thing. The beginning of this fight isn't as hard, but when his HP falls down, he starts to become actually quite threatening. Yeah, as you can see, I can bleed him out. As you can see, he removes that bleeding from himself. Okay. Well, they described him to be like super deadly and stuff, but for the most part, well, he's tougher than the Collector. He's sort of on the same level as Crawl boss. But yeah, it's good. I like that battle. And I killed that green spider because I don't want to get 30 damage crit in the face. They are quite terrifying with crits. Their base damage is kinda meh, but outside of base damage, like, there is a crit chance, and should that thing hit your face, you'll be not pleased at all. And I can hit stuns. And I want to do some stress management. Finally. I should also pre-buff, because next room another battle awaits. Always keep in mind that you can pre-buff before the next battle. If the next battle occurs
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
closer to you, you can get it done with. Use those buffs on you, and that way you'll start a battle not without any buffs on you, but rather with buffs from the previous battle. Those that have last in rounds, those that have last in battles. If it says one battle, as soon as battle ends, it's gone.
Injury. Palpable.
Yeah, interesting thing that this boss, the thing from the sky, was described like, holy hell, this is like, retreat is an option, and so on and so on. After I saw the Countess, nah. You got to impress me with something way more dangerous than that. And the thing also, I went to kill it on a champion level dungeon, which means it will not gonna become like stronger anywhere anymore. It's the peak of its performance.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
But then again, it's interesting. I'll put it that way. To keep it as simple as possible. Interesting. Because it's something new, because it's not like Crimson Court, which I've been continuously decimating the same packs of enemies for like several weeks straight. At least now the game gives me more opportunities. Okay, so we've done here. Let's get out.
The agents of pestilence will yet be driven from our woods.
A lot of gold. And thankfully no diseases. Speed and dodge. How much do I need for buildings? We will see right now. We got a unique perk, which is giving us a debuff resist, plus 25. And also Jester got a Luminous perk that I would...
Dug for months, years, an eternity. And we were rewarded with madness.
Okay. Oh, finally, a frontliner. Okay, Jester, you have this. The question is, where I want to Man, it will gonna take me 2 turns to do this? And it seems like you can only lock in 3 positive works. Not that great. Let me check here. Torch is below. I need level 3 and level 4s. Wait, but. Damn it. No. Well, shoot. I cannot continue on with... I can also go, like... ghost busting. Is in terms of how much stuff you need for buildings. Here it is. This thing we haven't found yet. Some kind of a stardust. As in terms of those buildings, basically 100, 100. And, well, pretty much 323. Nah, I was kidding about going to fight thing from the stars. Until I'll get myself a good frontliner, it's just not gonna work. Okay, so we'll need 21 plus 11, 32. We'll need 32 portraits and our whole city is going to be maxed out. In meanwhile, I mean, I cannot go into those dungeons. Well, let's go into short champion ruins. We would have to do those rotations up until the point where we will get a good level 3 frontliner. Though, at the same time, you know, we can actually go with level 2s, level somebody up. Well, he needs treatment. Level them up. Level at least like frontliner. Let's say, for example, actually we'll do this. Okay, wilderness short. Fine. Time to dive into low level stuff. Here is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go and we're gonna do some good stuff. Okay. Dodge and... Actually... Plus 10 dodge, plus 10 stress, but it's a short dungeon. Okay. Blade resist. Though it's not really mandatory there. Wait, if I'm gonna give him this tooth, will it work there? Not really. Damage range skills. I have a map. Whatever. And for you, I want to go with damage. Damage against beasts. So maybe not. Maybe just raw damage. Like crits and... Where is this? Ancestor Pen. Yep. Good stuff. Let's go level up this team then. I don't know how much stuff do I need to bring with me, so I bring just the amount that I will feel comfortable with. I was thinking that they will be giving like couple of those apprentice dungeons, so that way I will be able to
stopping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil.
So that I will be able to utilize my low-level squadron better. But it seems like first will be...
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
First is actually going to be apprentice, then veteran.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
And yes, since this is apprentice dungeon, I'll try to focus on better explaining the stuff that you see on your screen. So, wilderness. For the most part in wilderness, you are going to be facing against bandits, which are human types. You will be facing against animals such as spiders, such as dogs. You'll also going to face up against combinations of humans and beasts. I'm talking about those fungus creatures that are a combination of two things, beasts and humans, with additional kind of random encounters. Blight here is not really your best friend. Just go with bleed. And raw damage and damage against damage against beasts or humans.
Executed with impunity.
And remember that at apprentice level dungeons, especially short ones, you should not really focus a lot on buffing yourself up. As good as it may sound, it's not always wise to go for buffing yourself. Instead of that, just go for... You would have to get rid fast of enemies before they start to become an issue. And to be completely honest, the way you would like to prioritize targets is you kill stress dealers or some nasty targets first that will mark or apply disease on you. You get rid of them first, then you go for the rest. And pretty much the same strategy can be applied towards most of the dungeons that you will be clearing out, especially against stress dealers. The point is with stress dealers and level 0 characters, if you have level 0s, they have preset skills. They also have a problem that's their damage is not the damage, but they get stressed out pretty fast, and your stress dealers will not gonna be able to, if you have them, there is a chance that you might not even have those stress dealers, but like Jester, and even if you have, he might come to you with no proper skills. This way you will actually have to look like stress is capitalizing really fast. I have to somehow deal with that. How do I deal with that? There are two ways, but at the early stages of the game there is pretty much only one way, and that is for you to just kill the stress dealers as fast as possible. Another way for enemies to stress you out is going to be by hitting you with crits. That thing is RNG based, so there is not much I can help you with when it comes to that. Another thing is stepping on traps. Also, here you can see Madman. In my edited video, by the way, if you'd like to watch it, I have an edited video that is where I speak about Apprentice, Ruins and Coals, and there I was talking about Madman and why you should target priority here. So here you see with one of his attack he applied stress, like 8 to 10 stress to pretty much everyone in my roster. This is kinda bad by itself, and that is considering the fact that I have like super late game trinkets. When you start the game, you're not gonna have such a arsenal of trinkets, neither will you have, like here I have level 2, level 1 heroes, I don't have level 0s. Not all of my heroes have a good works, but for the most part they are kinda okay. Thus, when you see a Madman and you have ways to get rid of him as fast as possible. Otherwise, you'll be swimming in stress. And once again, going to tell you this as many times as it is going to be needed. avoid getting stressed out at the early stages of the game. And don't be afraid, like, if it's really, really early game, you just started, you might, if your character, like, got a lot of negative quirks, if he has suffered the stress check was unsuccessful, throw him away. If he's, especially if he's like level 0. There is no point in wasting tons of money in order to make him viable again.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
In Champion Dungeon, this is different. Sort of different. Like, when you get to the champion level dungeons, it's going to become different. But as if at the early game where you are level 0, hell, maybe even level 1, if you should learn how to balance things out. Like, do I want to get rid of this character? Or do I want to keep him in my roster, but then I would have to waste a couple of turns healing him up, removing stress, wasting gold, yada yada yada. And you would have to make those decisions. I want to, like, tell you this information right now, so that later on you would not have to deal with that thing.
Begone, fiend.
Also, about enemies such as skeletons and stuff like that, they can appear much like madmen in various different dungeons. So skeletons are mostly ruin specific, but some of them can pop up here. Madman is also kinda ruin specific, but he will pop up in other dungeons.
The promise of safety.
Can say the same thing about enemies of the wilderness, because most of them will not appear in any other dungeons besides wilderness. Dogs may appear where the swines are, but I'm not sure.
Abomination cleansed from our lands. Driving out corruption is an endless battle, but one that must be fought.
I will get rid of this, simply because 20 stress when he's just sitting in there is not that good. And
No amount of scrubbing can remove the stains of such fearsome piety.
I don't really need to remove stress. He will, since he will be staying idle. Oh, yes, we finally get ourselves a veteran bounty hunter. Looking at this and I'm like, you know, let's get rid of Grave Robber. Yeah.
Send this one to journey elsewhere, for we have need of sterner stock.
Okay, so we brought him here. This thing will go away. And I'll lock this thing up. Also, our healer has good stuff. He has good stuff. Maybe we'll focus a little bit on those. And the Daredevil thing is good for safety purposes. Let's put there a high level one. But then again, they... Fine, you please. Self-worship and... Yeah, fine, like this. So let's see, we can try to go... We can go for a medium cove. No, we will not, because... Okay, short apprentice, wilderness, fine. Another one. With those little, like, expeditions, I'm just going to show you maybe some trick or two about apprentice level wilderness.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions. A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Minus of those expeditions will be the fact that I would then need to waste 1 or 2 turns in order to remove negative quirks from those who I will going to be taking into the boss battle dungeon, into the DLC. And yet again, I am going to show you that primarily you would want to focus the stress dealers first. Here we kinda haven't been able to kill her, but at the same time we got her low enough so that next time, when next turn, she will most likely going to fall down. I'm just gonna buff, because in next room another battle awaits, and I want to get to it with as much buffs on me as possible. So that then I can use Jester either for stress heal or simply for stress removal. In Darkest Dungeon, once you get used to the mechanics, once you try out different compositions of skills, of characters, you then start to see that it is actually not that difficult. Yes, sometimes it might be frustrating, but frustrating moments are going to tone down. Especially the fact that, like, after you close out Crimson Court, it will be even better. Crimson Court was, for the most part, like, I've already beaten it, so I am going to drop this in. Crimson Court started up to be quite decent and interesting. But there is a huge but that I personally didn't like, and that is a forced time wall that they've placed in order for you to progress through the game. Once again,
but a victory nonetheless.
It's my own and personal opinion and how I view it. But as you saw, like, for those of you who have been following playthrough, I've wasted so much time trying to trigger those infestation level, as well as so much time trying to clear dungeon, those 3 epic dungeons. We finished the main campaign on week 101, I believe. I would have to check it to see whether I'm right or wrong. And we've wasted pretty much 50 weeks on the first DLC. That's quite a lot.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
But at the same time, I am going to tell that the game gave me so much positive emotions overall. The game, not Crimson Court specific. Sometimes stressful, sometimes salty. Yes, like everyone else playing this game, sometimes I was salty about RNG, about all that stuff. But at the same time, if you have been following my playthrough, you saw that how exactly was I able to go through this game with as few casualties as possible. Those casualties could have been even less.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
But for a first-time playthrough, in my opinion, this is actually quite a reasonable amount of casualties. If there wouldn't be any casualties at all,
Now it must be carried home.
I would be really sort of impressed. But there were. And I was learning on my mistakes, which is important. When you play this game, learning on your own and personal mistakes that you make, capitalizing on strengths and weaknesses of enemies is important.
The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. The light, the promise of safety.
Avoid things like saying that, well, this game is so difficult, it's ridiculous, I can't do this, I can't do that. No, you can do it.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
You can do it. Just take your time and do it. This game is not all about RNG. It's only partially about RNG, and another huge part is going to be about how exactly are you going to be prepared for what is going to be waiting for you. That's a huge part of success in this game. Simple things like, are you just blindly rushing? Are you not paying attention towards how certain mechanics works? Do you simply ignore the fact that this enemy is weak to this thing, this enemy is strong against that thing?
Destroy them all.
And besides, if you are playing on the second difficulty, like I do, you will have all the time in the world you need
Brought low and driven into the mud.
in order for you to progress through the game. Keep that in mind, please.
Trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Try to look at this game from a different perspective, from a strategic point of view. Thus, next time when you will encounter a difficult fight, a boss fight, or stuff like that, you will be able to better understand and have a slightly better comprehension of what I did wrong, how I should have done it differently to avoid this thing in the future.
As the fiend falls,
Like chess game,
faint hope blossoms.
with some RNG elements there.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
As soon as you as a beginner player will change the mentality of how you approach the game, you will immediately going to see benefits of you doing so.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
In future, I will be doing more of these edited videos for absolute beginners. They are not a step-by-step guide, no, they are not a handhelders, they are just there to teach you a few things about certain aspects of the game and how the game works. Okay, we are done here.
Every cleared path and charted route reduces the isolation of our troubled estate.
Yeah, and now it's time to throw them into healing facility.
I was lord of this place before the crows and rats made it their domain.
Let's quickly throw them there. Especially Jester, he's so clumsy, so fragile, so lazy, such a lazy eye. In addition, he is also known to be cheating, and he has this germaphobe. Man, I would have to spend quite a lot of time removing that. And as a for also leper, yep. this thing as well as nothing more. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it for today's Darkest Dungeon stream. Once again, like I promised you, we have managed to tackle and to finish our first DLC, which is called Crimson Court. We've beaten every single boss there with no casualties, with strength and wisdom. We purged Crimson Court. I would like to sincerely say thanks again to those of you who have been giving me some useful tips. Once again, I'm like you, I'm also a learner. A lot of stuff in this game is still new to me, despite all the time I spent playing this game already. I still learn new things, and I hope that you are learning something new also. Again, a quick sort of a reminder and a big thank you to all of you who have supported this channel, who have made... Together we managed to pass the first threshold. Now we are more than 50 followers, and now we are Twitch affiliates. Our community is slowly but surely rising, and for that thing I sincerely want to say thank you to all of you who have helped us to achieve this goal. We will continue to improve in the future, and we will be making even more and even interesting content for all of you, for newcomers especially, sort of mini sort of guides, tips and tricks that just helps new players, newbies, and so on. If you missed any part of this playthrough or Grim Dawn playthrough, or you want to check out edited content for both Grim Dawn and for Darkest Dungeon, you can do that by visiting our YouTube channel. There you'll find various videos that are more centered towards beginners. They are helpful to them, and they are just interesting, minor but interesting stuff that not too many people speak about. Additionally, you can also, if you like the content, you can like and subscribe to either Twitch or to YouTube channels. This way you'll be able to know when the videos are on or when the streams are on and that good stuff. And if you want to know about any new information, any possible changes firsthand, you might as well consider subscribing to our social medias, because there we also post interesting information and changes. It helps to be in touch with all those little, minor or big changes. As in terms of schedules are as follows. You can see them on our social medias, on our Twitch channel, and that good stuff. Also, don't forget that now that we are Twitch affiliates, you can interact more with the chat using points that you can accumulate while doing certain tasks in chat, using them to unlock some stuff like questions and emotes. We will be working on subscribers emotes this week, so that you will have more stuff for you to play with once you will decide to become subscribers of our channel. And last thing is going to be about the Patreon page. If you really like our content that we provide and you want to support us with a penny or two, you might want to check out our Patreon page. There you can see that for those of you who decide to pledge a certain amount, you will be awarded with different perks and bonuses. That's going to be it for today's stream. Sincere thanks to all and everyone. Hope to see you next week. And have a good time. I will see you all on the next